Hi everyone, this is the Avoiding Avoidance podcast. I'm Christina.
And Sean.
And today we have a couple of things we want to go over. It might be kind of a mishmash of topics, but
Mishmash.
mishmash.
I don't know. Yeah, no. Okay.
Mishmash.
Go ahead. Continue.
But whatever words you want to use for a mix of things is what we're going to be doing today. First, I think we wanted to go to anxiety in the workplace, right?
Okay, in the workplace. Yeah. Let's start there.
Okay. I guess I'll start. So, I've mentioned this before, but my job is crazy. And the reason it feels so crazy is because my boss is very demanding, not in a normal boss way, but overly so. And she's very intimidating to me. Also to everyone else, but she's very intimidating. So I find it extremely hard to ask even the simplest of things to her. Like oftentimes, if there's nothing going on, she'll send people home early. But if I feel like I should introduce that idea, then I have so much anxiety that I just stay the whole time because I just can't work up the nerve to talk
So
to her.
if it's like, so she lets people go 15, 20 minutes early,
Sometimes even more.
even more than that. But when you want to ask, you get nervous.
Yeah, exactly. Even though I know the answer is probably going to be yes, but I can't handle the potential
So
no.
you just don't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a very avoidant type behavior right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some other examples where she kind of treats me like a doctor in terms of her expectations of me, but if I get something incorrect for normal reasons because I'm not a doctor, then I get hounded on as if I've made such a catastrophic mistake.
Right.
And it just makes me really anxious to even do my job at a basic level because I feel like anything I'm doing is incorrect or somehow going to get me in trouble.
Right.
And it's just difficult.
That's also, yeah, you sound like what I sound like when I worked, which is why I told you what I did when I worked.
What was that again?
I always overworked.
Oh, in terms of always finding something to do.
Yeah, because it just makes it easier. Because basically, if you do that, it's hard for people to critique what you're doing, even if you're making mistakes sometimes. But no, I know exactly what you mean with the like. You want to do your job, but you feel like even the smallest thing is going to be critiqued, so it makes you nervous doing the smallest thing. I used to have that problem when people watched over me when I worked.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I feel like I've done everything 100% correctly, but still that smallest thing is what she goes after. So
Right.
even when I know the job is correct, I still feel very anxious about it.
Well, she doesn't just pick on you like this. She picks on everybody like this.
Yeah, but I'll be honest, I don't know if it's my anxiety, but it feels like she's hardest on me.
It always makes you feel like it's just you. But look at the situations, and I won't say any other names, but look at the other people, and
Yeah, I know. Everyone's trying to leave, and
yeah, so
I would like to leave too, but I feel like now I'm anxious about that because I feel like I don't want to leave my place hanging. There's only like 5 or 6 employees, so 2 people are already on their way out. If this third person, which could be me or somebody else, leaves, then there's only like one person who's been there for X amount of time that's there trying to hold down the fort.
so there's like going to be no uh staff with seniority. Like
Right.
it's going to be no seasoned staff.
Right. Which will be, it's very difficult for a business like the veterinary medicine field because you need experience to do this job.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm
like
just anxious about that.
You know what I said before? I think could change a lot of this is if somebody, like all of you guys, just avoid her instead of someone confronting her and talking to her.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes, not all the time, sometimes if you talk to a person and tell them what's bothering you and be open and vulnerable to them, they can actually realize that they're doing something wrong. And I don't know if your boss will realize that or not, but I'm sure she doesn't feel like she's creating this hostile work environment.
Right. No, I don't think she does, but I also think she has some like narcissism effects in that way because I think it's very obvious. Everyone thinks it's very obvious that she flips out for nothing. So I don't know.
I don't know what I think she is, but she definitely like flips on you guys a lot. Like one minute you guys are doing great, and the next minute you can't do anything right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's some things you have to deal with anxiety in the workplace. I mean, is there anything else?
Um.
You have a big problem with asking authority figures things. I want to say that.
Yeah, I know. I mean, like, the going home early is just so simple, and
Yeah,
I
it's
can't.
not even just that. You do that at your other job too. Um, Authority figures, even like as far as it goes to your parents, you have problems asking them things sometimes or telling them things sometimes.
Hmm.
Like,
I know.
you know where that comes from at all, or any ideas where it comes from at all?
I honestly have no clue. I feel like the anxieties that I know are tied to things are avoidant ones, like men, for example. But I have no idea how any of the other parts of my anxieties
Right,
are manifested.
right. And it's not a fear thing. You're not like scared of these people.
Um, Sometimes I guess it depends on the question.
Like your boss. You're not scared of your boss. Like,
Not like that she's gonna hit me, but
no.
I'm
But I
like,
mean, like, what is that? Like, I mean, when I say scared, I mean, do you have a fear of your boss? Like,
I think I do.
okay, so same with your parents. You have like a fear of
I don't
something,
know, some sort of rejection slash denial. I think.
or I guess like letting them down or something like that.
Yeah, it depends on the situation, but yeah. In general, I feel like authority figures and asking them things or getting something that I want from them is a big thing for me.
Yeah. Okay, I understand that. Um, for me, some anxiety in the workplace. I had a lot actually.
Hmm.
Starting when I worked at the nursing home, I was the only stock person for the entire kitchen,
That's a lot.
and they trained me the week they trained me Thursday and Friday, and then the guy who's the head of stock went on vacation for the weekend. So he gave me 2 days worth of training, and I had to do all this stuff myself. Sign for the trucks, empty the trucks, load the things into the dry room, the refrigerator room, and the freezer room.
Like a whole tractor trailer.
A whole truck, like a whole big, like when we see the trucks that go to Wawa, like a truck like
Oh
that
yeah,
full of
yeah,
stuff. Like a yeah, like an 18 wheeler.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it was ridiculous, and I had to do all of this by myself, as well as help with regular tasks in the kitchen, like sweeping and cleaning up and just whatever else they wanted me to do, which no one else had to do. No one had to help me with stock ever.
Mhm.
And it just made me very anxious because, okay, now I'm working in this, especially this, it was the summertime, working in the summertime, doing all this heavy lifting and stuff all day by myself. So I'm like, most of the time I'm sweaty, and then I have to interact with all these people throughout the
Yeah.
thing. And then on top of that, because I was stock, I had to run, for whatever reason, the person who was stock ran the carts to the appropriate wings in the building. So before you do that, you have to call out over the intercom.
Oh no.
And you know I hate my voice. So you have to call out over the intercom something to the effect of luncheon, wing A, please get ready and we'll be bringing there in a few minutes. Hated it. Hated it. And then, of course, no one knew me. So everyone would, like, all the nurses would, like, comment, like, oh, is that you with the deep voice on the thing? And it just frees me up. And I'm like, yeah, just take this. All right, I'll see you guys later. Like, I can't deal with even when it's positive comments or whatever, or like one of the ladies one time was like, you don't gotta be so nervous and blah blah blah, and I was like, oh, so she noticed I was nervous. Like I didn't even say anything to her. Like so, but that during that job I also had problems asking my boss for any like help because I was the only stock person and she knew that, and like I said, I always kept busy, so my job was always done.
Mhm.
My job was always done. Other people's jobs weren't done, and they would make me do it, like help them do it because they had seniority.
Yeah.
And I never wanted to ask her like, do I have to do that? Because I didn't want to like snitch on anybody, like
Right.
get anybody in trouble for like not doing their job or whatever
Makes
like
sense.
that.
Yeah.
But I couldn't bring myself to ask her. It took me forever to bring myself to ask her. And by the time I finally did ask her, it was like too late, and I was like already done with the job. Like I already made like I guess like too many people didn't like me because I guess I'm one of those employees where it's like I overdo all my work.
Makes them
So
look
now
bad.
she's complaining to all of them like you guys don't find something to do when you're busy. So yeah, it ended up to the point where like none of those people liked me and I couldn't work there anymore. The most anxiety I've ever had at a job was working GameStop though.
Really?
GameStop was the worst because I know what I'm talking about because I'm a gamer and I'm really into games, but
Right.
we have to do these spiels to people.
Oh, like warranties and stuff, right?
We have to go. No, we have to like ask like, hey, you like when you come in, we have to say, hey, how you doing, and welcome to GameStop, and these games are on special, and here are these deals that are going on right now, and most people don't want to hear that.
Right.
Most people want to get in, get their game, and get out. And even for the people who are there, like there's people who come like every other day. There's people who come when you work at a GameStop. There's people who visit that GameStop a lot, and you know what they want. They don't want this small talk. They don't want you to ask them for the pre-orders. They don't want to ask for the warranty.
They know what they want.
You know this guy's coming in to get his 2 action figures, and that's it. He gets 2 because he collects them, and you know that. And you get in trouble for not doing that. But when you do that, for someone like me, it's hard because it's like socially awkward. It's like I'm talking to you and having a casual conversation, and then I have to go like a robot. And even though these guys are like, oh, come on, you know, I don't want to ask that. I'm like, oh, sorry, you know, I gotta ask. I have to ask you this.
Yeah.
Or you lose your job. And that was one of the hardest things for me. Like I could not get that salesman pitch down.
Right.
Because it felt so like fake. Like and we had to do it to every single person who walked in the store. And I had to work register most of the time, meaning that besides working the register and dealing with every customer that comes in the store, I have to also walk out onto the floor and greet every person that comes in the door. It was just a lot. I don't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend it for anyone who has anxiety.
Really.
Anyone who has any type of social anxiety. I don't know about all retail, but GameStop was just did not work well for social anxiety.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of retail jobs are very similar in what they expect you to do. But like I didn't have any social anxiety over it, but for example, Trader Joe's when I worked there, you have to do everything. You're the stockman, you're the register, you're I don't know, cleaner, you're everything.
Right.
And I can see how working this job can really trigger somebody because, for example, when you're up at the register and you need, like, someone ripped their bag of chips or something. Now, instead of the person leaving the or the line to go back and get a new bag of chips, you have to call out to your fellow employees for someone to help you get a new bag. So I could see that, like, all this stuff going on, especially with like 20 people in line at a time,
that
can
was
really
the worst.
be.
Oh my god, working Black Friday at GameStop. Remember, I had to get up at 5 in the morning.
Yes, that was crazy.
The line was out the door for like 6 hours straight.
Before you even got there?
Yes.
Wow.
For like 6 hours straight, that line was out the door. It was ridiculous.
Were the deals good though?
Yes, the deals were good. But I was like one of my, like I said, one of my triggers, not one of my triggers, but one of my, one of the things I always get when I get anxiety is sweaty palms, and I get sweaty in general. So I was like drenched that whole day. No matter how cold it was in that building, I was just like drenched in sweat, which makes you more anxious, which makes it harder to work, which just makes you more anxious again. And it just keeps going.
Right.
That was the freaking worst. Like I did not like that.
Did you have any other workplace experiences you want to share?
Like I told you, for example, when you need to speak up to people, I did have one time where I had to speak up to someone for talking to me a certain way.
Oh, really?
They
Where
were
was
talking
that?
to Abigail. I told you.
Oh.
They were talking to me like, Abigail.
That's fine.
They won't know where that's at. It's in PA somewhere. There you go. It's in Pennsylvania somewhere. But yeah. So when I worked at the nursing home, they the person was talking to me like I was under them, and I wasn't even in there. They do have a tier of workers for the people who work in the kitchen, but I worked stock.
So it's like completely separate.
No, I was top tier. I was the only one. Like I'm the only one besides the guy who runs the stock division, and he's not there ever.
Yeah.
So it's just him then me. That's it. That's our hierarchy. So, but she was talking to me, and like just go do this, go do that. You heard what I said. I'm like, whoa. Excuse me. And she's like, you ain't do that right. Like, don't you know how to do this? You ain't never done this before. How old is you? What, you too young to know how to do this? And just different things like that. Just little snarky remarks here and there. And I was like, excuse me, but I'm not your child. I know I'm younger than you, but I'm also an adult. So if we're going to work together, we need to talk to each other as adults. If you want my help, you need to talk to me as an adult. And if you feel like you have a problem with that, then you need to speak with me directly, or you can speak with the boss, but I'm not going to sit here and take it. And I tell you, sometimes it's that simple to tell someone. Like when you had your problem with the person at work who was picking at you for no reason, sometimes you just have to tell these people, like, hey, stop. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to accept that.
Yeah.
And it'll be over. That was it for that.
That's what I hope. But that's not what my anxiety tells me.
Your anxiety tells you what? That you're going to get in a fight with this person or
Yeah,
something?
physical fight or something.
Oh, man.
I don't know. Could get punched in the face one day.
No, I don't. I mean, some people you can, but I don't think so. I think most are understanding enough to calm down.
Well, why did they get in that situation in the first place?
Because some
'Cause they're
people,
off
just like
the
some people
handle.
some people have bad days.
No
I'm sure
excuse.
you've had a bad day and you got snarky with somebody for something they didn't deserve it for. I'm sure.
I guess.
Yes, you have. Yes, I know for a fact you have. I have too. But yeah. Did we have anything else for anxiety in the workplace? I think we have a story, right, this week.
Oh yeah, we do. Let me
From
get
an
that
anonymous
story.
person.
So, this is a story about basically starting a job and some of the anxieties that can come with that. So let me get started. So I'll read as if I'm this person. So, I was studying horticulture in school. I only had one thing I had left in order to do in order to graduate. I had to volunteer for a certain amount of hours at a workplace. I chose to volunteer at the zoo. We had to wear specific uniforms and everything had to match. If we wore a baseball cap or jacket, it had to be a specific color to match the uniform. I noticed they provided raincoats for us, but no jackets or coats for winter. I waited too long to confront them about it. Well, I worked through the summer and fall, but when it came to winter, I couldn't bring myself to ask either my boss or coworkers, "Do you have a coat I can wear for winter that will match my uniform?" I knew I had the option of simply emailing my boss or the volunteer coordinator, but I felt so ashamed and so embarrassed that I couldn't ask them. I had already missed 1 week of work because I had the super flu, and then the next 2 weeks I was lying in bed in agony, tossing and turning, and unable to get myself to call them and ask this simple question. I was in agony because I knew I needed a job in order to graduate. I had taken all the self-esteem and confidence I could drum up in order to get myself this volunteer job. I didn't think I'd be able to accomplish it again. I loved working there, and I knew if I quit that I'd be too ashamed to ever apply to volunteer there again. I remember hitting myself a few times as I was lying in bed and pinching myself so hard, hoping that I could make myself call or email them. Nothing. This was before I knew what AvPD was, and I had no ability to understand why I felt so ashamed. Months went by, and I kept promising myself I would still go back, but had no way of understanding my own actions. Then I felt ashamed of myself for failing. I never went back. I never graduated from school. I never got my degree. I remember I did tell the horticulture program teacher that I suffered from social anxiety and that I needed her help. She was so nice to me, but she couldn't understand me at all because she was very extroverted, very talkative, and kind. Years later, I was thinking back on it, and I recalled that 2 weeks before I had gotten sick, I had ridden in a car with another coworker named Karen, and she had asked me several private, caring questions to me about my life. She had been super kind, and I realized that I had made a friend that day, but also felt somewhat beholden to her, but in an appreciative way. I think that small exchange with her was what actually caused me to be too afraid to go back. Now I realize that it was the intimate exchange that was the real reason at the center of why I had left, not having a winter coat. The winter coat had just provided an excuse that my AvPD unconsciously used. That's my story. All right. Well, thank you for that.
Thank you very much. That person who wrote that story has been very helpful to me, by the way, in the creation of this podcast and just support and all. And they've always been willing to open up and share with me and let me share with them. So I appreciate them sharing the story very much.
Absolutely.
And I can 100% understand the fear of just, well, one, even if it was the fear of her just asking for the coat, I can understand that. Like you just said, sometimes it's hard to, when you have anxiety, to ask people simple things. And I don't know why. It's just so, especially like for whatever reason, phone calls. Making a phone call to someone you don't talk to, Like if you have to call your boss like on the phone, say you couldn't text your boss, what you do? If you had to call your boss,
The anxiety.
yeah, no, that's something that's pretty hard. That was
Yeah.
hard for me to do.
Definitely. And I just think it's really interesting how, or I guess great that she was able to kind of look inside herself and see what the real causes
Right.
of things were.
Right, because like, as she said at the end, she feels like the connection she made with the person was the real reason. Because as I've seen a lot of people in the AvPD group say that when they interact with a stranger, it's okay because they know they'll never see them again. So I guess this is kind of what that interaction was like, except when she realized she was going to have to see that person
Yeah,
again.
that she's not really a stranger anymore.
Yeah, the AvPD kicked in and it made her push away from that connection.
Right.
Which I've done that before. I've done stuff like that before. Like for example, I didn't even go to my graduation because the main reason I didn't go to my graduation, I always say, is because my AvPD and we had to all go like 8 at a time to get fitted, and we all had to sit. Basically, it was a long process, and I would have to sit there with these 8, 9 classmates that I didn't know at all because I never socialized with anyone when I was in school. So I was saying it was that, but what I think it was is I had created a really, really close connection with my teacher at the time. Professor Sweeney, and I don't think he understood my anxiety. I don't think he understood my AvPD. So he felt like I should go to the graduation.
Right.
And I felt like I should just take the graduation pictures because my AvPD didn't want me to go. I didn't want to go, but I'm going to say my AvPD didn't want me to go because it's a stage and a bunch of people, and you have the stupid fears like you're going to trip or you're going to fall or you're going to...
Everyone's taking pictures.
Yeah, or you're going to fumble over your speech or you're going to make a stupid mistake when you're going up there. Any myriad of things can happen. So I was using that as the excuse, but I think the real thing was I felt like I let him down. I really feel like I let him down because I didn't want to go. And once I had the conversation with him about going and not going, and he gave me the stereotypical answers of like, oh, you can do it, and you just got to push through it. If you don't push through it, then you'll never get past this type of stuff.
Yeah.
He gave me like the stereotypical answers like most people give you when you tell them you're
Right.
not social
It's
anxiety.
not that simple.
So it kind of like hurt me. It was like, wow, I suck so much that I can't even get up the courage to do this for a person who helped me so much. This guy helped me get through school at one point when I couldn't even, when I just didn't have money to wash my clothes and stuff like that. He would just go wash them and stuff like that. He would buy me lunch.
Really sweet.
He would buy me lunch every day. And I felt bad that I let him down, but I knew I just could not do it. I could not, at that moment, I was not strong enough to do anything close to public speaking, which he wanted me to do. He wanted me to speak at the graduation.
Oh, wow.
And he also wanted me to just participate in the graduation, which I just couldn't do.
Do you think you could do that now?
Yes, I believe I can.
That's
I
good.
believe if I needed to, I could do something like that. But back then, I wasn't strong enough to confront my fears head on. And amazingly now, that's one of the things I thought about that day when I finally had that big breakdown and was like, I'm not going to let this disorder take anything else from me. I thought of him and him saying that he used to suffer from things like this and he had to tackle them head on.
Mm-hmm.
And once he tackled them head on and dealt with the results. So I guess the theory is to go at these things, and whether a good or bad result happens, just to go at these things and deal with the aftermath.
Right.
And that's what I've been doing. So I'll tackle this head on, and whether the result is good or bad, I can deal with the result. But it's better than doing that than to not try at all. I mean, at least for me. I know that doesn't work for everybody, but for me, now it's better to try and say I tried and it went bad, or to say I tried and it went good, but it's better to try.
Definitely.
So that's what I've been going by now. But yeah, I can definitely relate to her story a lot.
Yeah, that was really insightful for sure.
And, so that story does kind of lead into the next topic, which is asking for help.
Yeah, that was a pretty good segue.
Yeah.
So thanks for that.
I'm not even going to get into me for asking for help because I have a billion reasons why it's too hard for me, whether it's asking for a favor, a ride, money, support for this podcast. I haven't really asked any of my friends to check it out or rate it or anything like that. I cannot ask people for things.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel about it.
Kind of the same thing. I mean, it depends on the situation, but I mean, like I said before, it's kind of the authority thing where someone has this over me, I guess, whether it's money or resources or whatever it could be.
That's why I don't ask people for things. I don't want people to have anything to hold over me.
Yeah. So it's kind of something like that, but it's just being nervous to ask because I'm worried about the answer.
Right. I also don't have a big support system at all. So I've never felt like I've had a solid support system. So there's only about 2 people that I feel like I can ask at any time for anything, and they're going to help me if they can.
Yeah.
Where, I mean, you have a pretty big support system. You have all of your immediate family. You know, your father,
right.
mother, sister. You have even you and your aunt are close. Your friends, like Tattoo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who listens? So hi.
Hi, Tattoo. Does she even know I still call her? No, she doesn't know I still call her.
I don't know. She might.
Know. All right. If it bothers you, I'll call you Tat. But I like Tattoo. It's tough. But like that, you have those friends and stuff you can ask that. For me, it's my one brother and you, to be honest. Even though, like, for example, your dad is working his way into my support system.
Right.
He's been very supportive with everything since I've met him. But it's especially with me and my abandonment issues that have to do with, you know, my father not being around and not having a lot of male role models. It's hard to, like, trust men for me. Especially older men. So it feels
I feel that.
It feels like I'm going to owe him something for whatever he helps me with. So It's hard to just let him help me.
Right.
But so even though he tells me all the time, ask him for help, I can't think of a time I've actually took him up on that offer and asked him for help with anything.
I don't think you ever have.
I don't think so. I think most of the time that he helps me with something, it's because he just does it, or you talk to him and he just does something out of his own free will. I don't think I've ever asked him for anything if I did, it was probably very hard to do so. But just like that, I can't ask my mom. I don't like to ask my mom for anything. Not out of fear of not getting it, but out of...
I mean, it's kind of part of it.
It's the fear of rejection. Like, I don't care if someone doesn't help me, but I don't like when you reach out to someone and they don't, like, answer you or something to that effect.
At least give you a no.
At least tell me you can't help me.
Right.
Or at least tell me, you know, whatever it is.
But you need some sort of closure.
Yeah, I don't like asking people for help that are just going to leave me hanging.
Right.
And I'm sure a lot of people deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard asking for help. I don't know what I need to do to get over that, but I'm slowly getting over it with your family members, at least with your dad. Definitely, I've been getting over that in the last few months. Me and him, you know, talk about just about every week now, and we talk about things that can help me move forward, especially talking to him. I have him to talk to now about this AvPD stuff because he kind of understands it.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's been good, but besides that, I don't have anyone I can ask for help but you and my one other friend.
Yeah.
And I don't know what makes it so hard.
What, to have a support system or to ask?
I mean, you can't make a support system. You earn a support system. Like, it just builds around you. I don't have one for whatever reason. But I was saying asking for help from any individual.
Yeah. It's difficult.
Yeah, I see you have difficulty asking your parents sometimes for things.
I know. I don't know what it is, even though I know that the answer is probably great, I'll help you.
Right.
But it's just hard.
Yeah, that's all just anxiety.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm sure a lot of you guys suffer with these same things. We want to know how you deal with asking for help. Also, same thing. Do you have any experience with anxiety in the workplace? Any topic you can relate to in this podcast, we would like your opinions on it.
Yeah, definitely.
Because like we said before, it's not just about us. It's about being able to relate to one another. This one thing you may have anxiety with may help someone else realize that their anxiety is not invalid. You know what I mean? Some people feel like they're stressing over nothing, or I'm not saying to enable one another, but I'm saying some people need to be validated. Just like some people don't know they have AvPD, and when they finally find out they have AvPD, it makes them feel better because now they know what it is that's harming them and what's hurting them. So this is all just a place for us to relate to each other and embrace each other. So if you guys have any stories about anxiety in the workplace, asking for help, your past jobs or anything like that, feel free to comment, write into the email address, which we'll put the link in the description and all that stuff. Yeah, that's it. That's all I wanted there.
So the next thing we wanted to go over was making friends and kind of how we deal with friendship as a whole.
Yeah, that's... I made a new friend this week.
You did? Oh, that's awesome.
I made a new friend named Jay. That's about it. We talk we talk every now and again, and we talk on Twitter. We just talk about random stuff. I mean, it's cool, but it's one of those things where when you make a friend, how do you move forward with friendship?
Like in terms of getting closer?
Yeah,
or...
in terms of like getting to know each other and stuff like that. Yeah, it's hard.
I feel like for me, I don't know, I feel like I just have like one evening or something where I just need somebody to talk to and just kind of like disregard what could happen, and I just reach out to this person. And usually they're receptive and we can go back and forth in a deep conversation, and I feel like it just kind of blossoms from there.
Right. Well, yeah, that's kind of what happened. I think we both needed someone to talk to that night, and I think we both just decided to talk to each other, and we wanted to start a group chat actually, but as we know, with people with AvPD, it's hard to get all of us to come out of our shells and
do they have that too?
Speak intimately. What?
AvPD.
Yeah, she has AvPD.
Oh, okay.
I think she has AvPD and something else that I will not disclose, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But she has AvPD for sure. And we wanted to start an AvPD group chat, but it's hard to get people with AvPD to come out of their shells and join groups and feel safe, and I think a group chat is more intimate. Whereas posting on Facebook or Twitter is less intimate because, the people are going to stop commenting eventually, or you're going to stop commenting eventually.
So you think it's better to have the group chat?
I think the group... I think so, because I think you get to know people better.
Oh.
I think it helps build more intimate relationships, and I think a lot of us need help learning to build more intimate relationships because that's a huge problem. A huge problem a lot of us can't communicate is because we don't communicate.
Right.
And since we don't communicate, every single time we communicate, it's an awkward encounter.
Right, that makes sense.
And like for me, I'm not bad at talking to people, but I'm bad at getting started talking to people. As like I don't walk up to people and start conversation. I don't have the charisma or skills to like walk up to a person and just start talking. But once a person talks to me and opens up to me, I'm a good talker. Everyone always tells me I'm a good talker. But my thing is just starting the engagement. For some people, it's not starting the engagement. For some people, it's the actual conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I understand.
Okay, just making sure because you looked a little bit lost. But yeah, so so with the friend thing, it's hard like knowing like when you make a new friend, like do I text them this day? They didn't reach out to me today, so do I reach out to them?
I know, is this too much? Or
yeah, am I talking to them too much? Am I telling them too much personal stuff?
Yeah.
You just feel, the best word I can use is annoying.
Yeah.
Even if you're not being annoying, you feel annoying.
But I feel like most people feel that way, so I think the best way to go about it is to just do it, with the exception of some obvious things like don't call them 16 times in a row that day.
Right.
But I feel like
the big thing that I see that a lot of people with AvPD do is if someone doesn't answer them fast enough, they'll snap. Like a lot of them will snap out like, oh, you don't have time to respond to me, or I see you're on Facebook and you can't. That's one thing you don't want to do. Everyone has lives, so this person might not... You want a
reasonable time in between.
Yeah, I mean, not a reasonable time. If someone takes 2 hours, 3 hours to respond back to you, it's still not your right to get mad at the person. They have a life. They have things going on. You never know what's going on.
Right.
But I understand how that could affect you, because sometimes I do message my friends and they don't get back to me till way later, and I'm like, wow, thank God I wasn't in dire need of their help. But you can't get mad at people for that. It's just, I mean, if sometimes there's different circumstances where someone is purposely like ignoring you or not answering you. That's a different situation. But I don't think you should just get mad for people for doing that.
No, I agree. I feel like there's better ways to work things through and I guess see if you're being annoying to them without doing
Yeah,
something
I'll
over there.
straight up. After the first time I talk to a person, I always tell them that if they need me, they can reach out to me
Mm.
because I don't want to bother them the next day, and I don't not I don't want to say bother because if they didn't say I was bothering them, I'm going to assume I wasn't bothering them. But I give them the opportunity to reach back out to me. And
You
if they
think that
reach back out
works
to,
better?
sometimes it works. Sometimes the person will reach back out to you, and then as for an exchange, the next time I'll reach back out to them, and it'll
Yeah.
keep going like that. But for some people, you're always going to be the one that reaches out. I don't think friendships like that work out.
Right.
And I feel like with AvPD, it's a lot of the time there's like a large spectrum of us, and I feel like the ones who want to make friends are on either side of the spectrum. So either you want to talk to people and make friends, or you don't want to talk to people and make friends like at all. So I feel like some people go, I want to talk, and when they talk to someone and get that little bit out, that's it. They don't ever need to talk to someone again until the next time you talk to someone. But some of us, like me, when we meet someone and we talk to them, even in the comment section, if we have a good conversation, we want to continue that conversation.
Right.
So we want to talk to that person. But how do you go about getting that person? You can't just, like, it's weird nowadays to just ask someone, oh, can I DM you? Like,
Yeah, without sounding weird.
yeah, without sounding weird. Like, oh, can we have a personal conversation like that? And I feel like Chris was first, specifically with people with avoidance and ABPD and SAD. I feel like getting into an intimate conversation in like a private message is like one of the big things that we can't do.
Right.
I don't struggle with it anymore, but I used to struggle with it. But I see a lot of people who absolutely will not talk to anyone inside of their messenger. I don't know why. I guess I do know why. I guess it's because of the avoidance and,
Right.
not wanting to deal with any awkward encounters or anything like that. Or fear of the person, I guess fear of the person not being a good person. Because, I mean, that also could be a thing. I know a lot of people have bad experiences with people that they reach out to and meet online. And then later, say for example, they don't answer fast enough. The person is like, oh, you're
Just like this other person.
yeah, and they flip out on you. So I know
Yeah.
for some people that's the reason, but for a lot of us, we want to communicate, so we have to be willing to take the risk to communicate. And that's what I've been doing lately. I've been trying to reach out to any and everyone I could reach out to.
I think that's the way to do it. And, if someone rejects you or something, obviously, then I think, in a way, it's good so that you can kind of harden yourself and kind of build on your
That's what I've been
strength.
doing.
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing.
But, you have anything else you wanted to talk about with making friends?
No, I think I'll let everyone else give me their feedback on that this week. I feel like every week I thank you guys. I've been getting a lot of feedback on a lot of the different topics and stuff, and you guys' opinions are important. So we're trying to centralize that. We started an actual group called Avoid and Avoidance Podcast Group, in parentheses AVPD. So if you search up AVPD, you'll be able to find the Avoid and Avoidance Podcast Group. We're trying to get you guys to engage with the topics there and open up a little bit more. I see a lot of people out there, even without AVPD, who have these problems complaining about their anxiety at work or just their job in general, or how they have no friends, or how it's hard for them to open up to people. And I feel like we all need people to talk to, and we all need people to embrace us. So
Yeah.
that group is on Facebook. Again, it's called an Avoiding Avoidance Podcast Group, and it has AVPD in the title. So if you search AVPD on Facebook, you'll be able to find it.
And it's private, so if you feel like you want to join and
Yeah,
let go of your feelings, it's not like any random person's going to be able to see
it's not
it.
like any random person can join. Only the people in the group will see what you post.
Exactly.
All right. Anything else?
No, I mean, I think I'm ready to go into events. How about you?
All right. I don't think you ever said what that is. I don't think we ever say that. Event.
Oh.
Every episode we have marked down on our docket events, which is where we vent the events about the events that happened during our week. Yeah.
Right.
So go ahead.
Sorry if we never introduced that before.
Yeah, we never say that. We just kind of vent. We just kind of ask what's going on this week.
So, I got to hang out with a long-term friend today, which was great.
Tattoo.
Yeah. We talked a lot about our anxieties and like worrying about getting into graduate school, and it's just very stressful. So, you're kind of talking about being or feeling kind of stagnant in life and wondering what we should be doing to get out of this rut that we're feeling, which is obvious that we want to just get along with our journey, but we're both just having trouble
progressing.
Not the fact that we're not progressing as quickly as we want to.
Right.
But besides that, it was a great time. We did a lot of cool things. And we went to PetSmart and said hi to the kitties.
Yeah, you got your kitty some stuff.
Yeah, got my cat a couple of gifts. So
she got her cat some meowie-wana. It's catnip that's marketed like marijuana. It's called meowie-wana.
Contains no cannabis, THC, or CBD.
Nah, just lemongrass, catnip, and what else?
I don't even know, parsley or something random.
She likes it. She likes it very much. Anything else happened with you this week?
One of the senior technicians at work is leaving. So that was kind of what I was referring to before, where it seems like everyone's just, where it seems like everyone's just dropping like flies. So that's really stressful. So in like a week and a half now, this person's not going to be there anymore, and I don't know what I'm going to do.
We're moving to Florida in like 3 months, so you're going to be leaving soon too, and you're going to have to do that.
Yep, put in my 2 weeks. I guess, I've been contemplating on telling my boss now that I'm planning on leaving in the summer versus just giving in my 2 weeks at that time.
I think you should, but
should
that's
what?
up to you. I think you should tell her now, but
I think I probably should.
Yeah.
But I just,
you gotta get up
I'm
the
procrastinating.
Yeah, you gotta get up the confidence to do it. See, that's an avoidant habit right there.
It is.
We always wait to the last minute to do these things.
Yeah, so maybe that's something I'll work on.
I told my mom very early. I told my close friends very early, and it was hard to talk, especially like my mom, to tell them that I'm moving. But they all dealt with it fine.
Yeah, but you don't know this lady.
I don't know this lady.
She crazy.
I know that, but you worked for her for a long time, and you're doing something to better your life. So, she's got to understand that.
She's so crazy.
She's got to understand that. She got to understand that. Unless she's going to pay you more money so that you can have a sustainable life here.
I don't care if she offered me $40 an hour. Actually,
that's a lie. You do.
That's a lie. But I've been thinking about leaving for a while, but this is like the real push that I needed.
Then I think you should do it soon.
Now, if she offers me $40 an hour, I'll stay.
Yeah, I don't think she's gonna offer you $40 an hour, but I think you could get a raise if you wanted to.
I think I could, but I don't know if it'll be enough to keep me here. I doubt it. Yeah. But it's pretty much it for me for the week. Do you have anything?
Yeah, this week was tough. I don't know. I've been pretty trapped in my own head this week. I've been thinking about things to do with the podcast a lot more.
In terms of what?
Just a lot of things. How to promote it more. I want to reach more people.
Yeah.
And I want to do it organically, and it's hard. So this week I reached out to 4 different anxiety groups and mental health groups to see if before I even just posted these things, because a lot of them didn't have rules about what you can and can't post. So I just messaged them directly and asked them, like, one of them is PDAN, Personality Disorder Awareness Network.
Yeah.
And I want to see if they wanted to post the podcast, because I'm sure a lot of people could relate to something like this or need to hear something like this to know that they're not alone, because, like I said, there's not a lot of podcasts out there, or there's not a lot of resources out there for people with AvPD
or many
SAD
anxieties,
or any mental health disorder or any anxiety disorder. There's not a lot of things. And I got rejected by all 4 of those places. They did not want to post it. I've seen all 4 of these places post blogs, video blogs, other
it's
things
like the same thing.
Other things like that, and they did not want to post the podcast for whatever reason. That's fine with me. Like I said, it's about helping people. So I'm going to find a way to reach more people so that I can help people no matter what. Mm-hmm. I'm going to find a way to reach people. If I have to do it without any help, then I'll do it without any help. But, that kind of hurt me, because
I know it's like really important to you.
It's really important to me for people to shed a light on this and to have more people and more ears listen to it. Like I said, it's not really about the views to me. The views just let me know that more people are hearing it and that more people could possibly getting help from it. That's all I want. So that bothered me a lot. I also just had this week. I've been thinking a lot about death and stuff because where I'm from, people die a lot or get killed a lot. And just today, 2 kids I know were killed. Both of them are under 18, so they don't say their name in the newspaper, so I won't say their names here either. But 3 kids I know were shot, and 2 were killed. All of them at one place, one time, at a park on a warm day, and
Wow.
and that just
That's a shame.
it makes me not want to go back to where I come from, like at all. Like it's hard to deal with my own close relatives and friends and stuff dying, but when it's just people like people,
Senseless.
yeah, it's people. I mean, they're not my closest friends, but they're people I know. They're people I see every day, and they're just dying for nothing.
Right.
Like it,
That's a lot.
and I'm so freaking jaded to it that I can't even. I'll feel this feeling in my stomach, like the feeling you get when you're about to cry, the feeling you get when you're sad, and just I get nothing out of it. Because like I said, within the past 5 years, there's been 20 people close to me that died. Today, 3 more people I know. They may not have been close to me, but I know I've seen them. I've seen their faces around. I'm never going to see their faces around again. And they're all under 18. 18 and under. They didn't even get to live any of their life yet.
Right.
I'm only 24, and I've done nothing with my life. Like, they were nowhere near being ready to go. But I guess, when it's everyone's time, it's everyone's time. But,
That's so sad.
that has me thinking about a lot of things, and one, missing all my friends that passed, thinking about all my friends that passed in similar ways, just got me all types of in my feelings. And I don't know, this week also, like I said, this week I didn't tell you this, but this week I talked to my aunt who's on my dad's side of the family.
Okay.
And as you know, my dad is locked up. I don't talk to my father at all. And I realized that there's a whole side of my family I don't talk to. None of them want nothing to do with me, which makes...
Why?
I don't know. I don't know. They just never did. They never showed interest in me. It's like, they just never did. And my little sister, as you know, on that side, I have a sister on that side named Jasmine. And we were getting close at one point, and now we don't talk at all because of an incident that happened with her. Long story short, one of her friends didn't like me, and she chose that friend over me. And me having AvPD, that was like a no.
blow.
That was
Yeah.
like a no. That was like... So I just haven't been able to talk to her since, and now she's over 18. When I last talked to her, she was 15. Now she's going on 19, just like my other sister. And
That's fine.
yeah, I've been thinking about that. I haven't talked to her in a while. There's just a lot going on with me this week, and someone suggested I vent on the podcast because we're supposed to be open and honest here, and that's just a few of the things bothering me.
Yeah.
There's a lot more, but I don't feel like getting into it. It's just been a lot this week. Still working on tackling these issues I have head on though. I'm still I'm not giving up or anything, and I'm not letting it bring me down enough. Obviously, like I said, I wasn't going to do the podcast today because I was so upset about all these different things that are bothering me. But we all have bad days, and I feel like we should let you guys see those bad days too, because it's not all good days with AvPD. I'm not always up and perky and cheery and positive, and that's just life. And
Yeah. Is there anything you think you can do this week or these next coming days to improve how you feel about all this? I know it's not that simple, but
yeah, no. I think I need to talk to a few more people.
okay.
I think this week I need to talk to your dad about some stuff. He's the only one I feel like can relate to some of these situations I have.
Right.
I still need to talk to my mom. I never got to take that step and talk to my mom all the way that I wanted to.
That's better because I didn't take any step.
I talked to one friend this week.
Yeah.
That on the last episode I said I wanted to talk to a friend this week about some stuff, and we talked, and she's doing great. She's having her baby shower soon, and wanted to invite me and all that stuff. I don't think I'm gonna go because I don't know a lot of the people that are gonna be there, but it was nice that she invited me, and we cleared the air between us, so that was a good step.
Yeah,
But
that's great.
I think there's a lot of people I need to talk to about stuff because like a lot of my, for example, these abandonment issues keep coming back up, and I have to talk to my mom about that. I have to talk to the people who, quote unquote, helped give me these abandonment issues. So I need to talk to my mom. I need to talk to my sister. Your dad I need to talk to about something separately. But I think that's what I need to do. I think most of this stuff for me comes down to talking to people I'm usually afraid to talk to.
Mm.
So that's gonna be my goal for this week is to talk to all those people.
Okay. All right, that sounds like a good plan. For me this week, I still need to do what I said I was going to do, and I think I need to talk to my parents about how all this anxiety and depression's been affecting me. I
And
did,
why?
yeah, and I did talk to my dad, a couple of weeks ago briefly about this, and we talked deeply about me missing my cousin and that kind of thing, but I don't think I completely conveyed what I wanted to in terms of how I am on a daily basis.
All right.
But
Tell them listen to the podcast because they'll see what you deal with
it's
daily.
very true.
Yeah.
That's
That's
very
the whole
true.
point of this is to show how these things affect us on a daily basis. You know, a lot of people think this anxiety, depression, or all that stuff is just like it just happens sometimes. But
Right.
when you're depressed or when you have these anxiety conditions or when you have these mental health disorders, it affects you every single day. Even the days where it looks like you're having a good day.
And in different ways every day too.
Yeah, a lot of us have to, put on a mask just to have a normal day.
Yeah.
And when we get home at the end of the day, we have to take that mask off and show our true feelings to no one but ourselves. That's why I'm trying to personally take that mask off and show the world who I am. And that's why you're doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, let people know that, even with this anxiety stuff, you have people to talk to and you have people who care and you have people who are going to listen.
Yeah.
And we want to be those people for you guys too. So, we want to help create that community of people who listen and people who care. And we want you guys to be a part of it.
Email us at avoidingavoidancepod@gmail.com or
Right.
comment below with anything. Or you can private message us on like Facebook, Twitter, that kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. Do you have one positive thing for the week?
Um,
One positive thing.
I mean, the fact that I hung out with my friend today was definitely
That's easy enough.
highlight of my week.
Highlight of your week. Tattoo.
What about you?
Tattoo. I wish I got to hang out with my friends this week. My highlight of my week. Well, one, I'll just give one this time. I always give two, but
You do.
the smallest one is just I'm excited that we're on all streaming platforms now.
Yeah, that's pretty
We're
exciting.
on everything now. We're on podcast. We're on Fireside. We're on Spotify, YouTube, Stitcher. Just about
Google
every
Podcasts, I don't know, everything.
just about every anywhere you watch podcasts, you can find us now. So
Yep.
that made me very proud.
Exciting. Check us out, review us, do all that good stuff.
Yeah, that's something I'm proud of.
Yeah.
That's something I'm happy about. And yeah.
Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about today?
There was some other stuff I want to talk about this week. Oh, I definitely wanted to ask anyone who has AvPD, SAD, any type of disorder that makes it harder for you to communicate with people. How do we help people become comfortable communicating? Like I'm in a lot of these avoidant personality groups and mental health groups, and we want to curate one as well where people can talk about they can talk about themselves, their lives, or just current events.
Mm-hmm.
We want people to be able to be open because your opinions matter. Everyone's opinions matter. Whether you just have an opinion on the current state of the world, or you have an opinion on anxiety, or you have a story to tell that you didn't tell anyone, or just you want to meet someone new and talk to someone. We want to create a community like that, and I want to know how do we how do we market that? How do we draw in people?
It's a good question.
How do we get people to feel comfortable with opening up to us and opening up on we have a group now, so how do we get people to join it? How do we get people to open up? How do we get people to feel safe? And anyone with any advice on that, I'm sure a lot of the people who listen to this, or at least the way I promote this to a lot of people with AvPD, SAD, and things like that, because they're the people who normally can relate to this. But if you have any ideas on what we can do to make you guys more comfortable,
we don't bite.
Yeah, we don't bite. Yeah, not at all. So if we want to get you guys to open up and feel comfortable, and any way we can do that, we're willing to take any suggestions. Just comment them, send it to them, send them to us directly. I don't know how people on Spotify reach us, but I'm guessing the email address will work.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah, if you're on any other platform besides YouTube, just reach out to us via the email. My Facebook, I always say it is Quay, Quay, BDB, Thomas L. And I'm pretty sure you can find that. Even if you want to reach out to me directly on there, that's fine. I don't care.
Yeah, and I'm just Christina Webster on there. Nothing fancy.
Yeah, you're just your full government name. Yeah. That's it. I think that's it for the week. This is probably is this a shorter episode than normal?
No, it's about average.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I felt like it was shorter this week.
No.
But you guys, we appreciate all of your support. I know I really do.
Yep.
I wouldn't have gotten through this week without a lot of you guys commenting on stuff or messaging me directly, and just telling me to keep my head up. I actually wouldn't be doing this podcast right now if someone didn't tell me to just let it all out on the podcast. So thank you guys very much, and we're here for you if you need us.
We are always.
And remember every week to just keep avoiding that avoidance.
Thank you guys.